everyone! Welcome to PST channel, Game Stories, Movie Style, for your busy day. Last time in Honkai Impact 3rd, I have given you a tease of what Honkai Impact could have been like when telling story in fun movie style. However, we have improved it even further this time with additional detail from manga. Do not worry, we still keep our style, concise and precise. Your entertainment comes first. Let's find out in today's story. Kiana and her friends arrive at the Oceania branch in New Zealand to retrieve the Gem of Desire, one of the 3 powerful Honkai cubes. Teresa explains to Himiko the gem's backstory. 14 years ago, the second Herrschers caused a disaster in Siberia, pulling the area into an imaginary space just before Honkai fission missiles, launched under Overseer Otto Apocalypse's orders, detonated. Cecilia, the strongest Valkyrie in that time, sacrificed herself to destroy the second Herrscher's core. The core shattered into 4 pieces, one of which became the Gem of Desire. When Otto and his organization, Schicksal's forces, went to retrieve the fragments, Anti-Entropy intervened with their advanced mechas and battleships, led by the first Herrschers. Their goal was also to claim the second Herrscher's remains. In the ensuing battle, Schicksal's forces were overwhelmed. Otto tricked Anti-Entropy into thinking the core was intact while secretly recovering the fragments and the Herrscher's body. The story that Teresa told Himiko was actually a lie that Overseer Otto distorted to deceive her. At that time, Teresa was badly injured, unconscious, and had to leave the battlefield first, so she did not know what actually happened. Back in 2000, at the end of the Second Honkai War in Siberia, Cecilia had defeated the second Herrschers, or the Herrschers of the Void, named Sirin. But Otto still ordered to launch the missiles to eliminate both Cecilia and Sirin at the same time to destroy the evidence that the second Herrschers was the result of his secret experiments in creating the Herrschers at a secret research base in Siberia. Then he sent a team to recover the remaining body of the second Herrschers along with the 4 cores, which are the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th Herrschers cores. Years after the end of the war, Otto captured young Kiana and created a clone of her DNA mixed with that of Sirin, second Herrschers. He also secretly embedded the core that was recovered after the war into the clone, hoping to recreate another Herrschers of the Void. Teresa also briefs Kiana about the powerful battleship from the first mission, explaining that it requires the energy of 4 Herrschers cores to operate. Kiana recalls hearing the Void's voice mention 4 keys. During their mission, Kiana and her friends discover that the Gem of Desire is implanted in a young girl in a wheelchair named Wendy. Himiko explains that Schicksal inserted the gem into Wendy's leg 3 years ago, enabling her to use Herrscher's powers. However, the process left her leg paralyzed, and the gem remains unstable. Wendy has learned to control its power, but it's risky. As they prepare to escort Wendy to the Hyperion, a battleship-class vehicle, Wendy expresses her wish to be like Bronya and walk with an exoskeleton someday. Later, Bronya suggests removing the gem immediately, but Himiko refuses, warning that the unprocessed gem could explode. Wendy interrupts, saying that as a Valkyrie, she must sacrifice for the greater good. At the rendezvous point, Kiana and her friends fend off Honkai beasts while waiting for the Hyperion. Suddenly, the Honkai energy in Wendy spikes, and her demeanor changes to one of bloodlust. Himiko, observing from afar, wonders whether Wendy has fully harnessed the gem's power or if she's been corrupted by the Honkai will. Wendy becomes hostile, forcing Kiana and the others to fight her. After some clashes, Wendy retreats.
崩壊指数2000か。これくらいあればハイペリオンも一撃で壊せるでしょ。ウェンディさん、何を言ってるの？この偽善者ども。あなたたちが憎い。すべてが憎い。みんなまとめてぶっ殺してやりたいほど憎い。
このエネルギー反応はウェンディ、まさかすでにデザイアジェムの力を解き放ったか、それとも結晶の崩壊意志に操られていたのか。
Himiko reports the incident to Schicksal HQ, prompting them to send an S-rank Valkyrie, Durandal, to handle the situation. She warns Kiana's team that they have only 30 minutes to locate Wendy. Meanwhile, battleships from Anti-Entropy are also approaching, likely to claim the Gem of Desire. To buy more time, Teresa broadcasts Durandal's location, hoping Anti-Entropy will engage her. The plan works, giving Kiana and her friends a chance to continue their search. Anti-Entropy is a private organization that was originally one of the main branches of Schicksal before breaking away due to the branch leader, Wal Jae-young, having ideological conflicts with Overseer Otto. Since then, they have been rivals of Schicksal. Kiana and her team eventually catch up to Wendy. Wendy spares them after a brief conversation and flies off again. During the pursuit, Teresa informs them that Durandal has realized her location was deliberately leaked and now suspects Teresa of working with Anti-Entropy. Teresa, frustrated, recalls that Durandal used to be her trainee but is now giving her a hard time. Durandal eventually defeats Anti-Entropy forces, leaving Teresa to explain her actions. Kiana and her friends suggest excuses, and Teresa uses Kiana's idea that Anti-Entropy just happened to cross paths with her. Surprisingly, Durandal accepts the explanation, sparing Teresa for now. The team finds Wendy again. This time, Bronya connects with her by sharing the story of Seal, an orphan who overcame Honkai corruption. Wendy begins to trust Bronya and calms down. However, Cecilia intervenes. She is the adoptive mother of an orphanage that takes in orphans from the Second Honkai War in Siberia. She adopted Bronya as a child, who was sent to kill her as an assassin from Russia. During time Bronya was there, Cecilia subjected her to various Honkai energy-related experiments, where Cecilia collaborated with the Anti-Entropy organization and implanted a microchip in Bronya's brain. She hacks into Bronya and forces her to attack Wendy. This makes Wendy enraged and attacks everyone again.
まさかさっきの話は全部嘘だったの。私お腹すい。
In the ensuing battle, Anti-Entropy's mecha troops arrive, knocking Wendy unconscious with a powerful strike.
これ以上は待てません。全戦術機構ステルス解除。目標第4律者。
そんな律者を一撃で倒すなんて。
The hijacked Bronya also incapacitates Raiden Mei. Outnumbered, Kiana is forced to surrender. As Hyperion and Himiko's forces approach, Anti-Entropy retreats, taking Bronya, Wendy, and Mei captive. Kiana is rescued but has no choice but to return to St. Freya High, where she teams up with Teresa and Himiko to plan a rescue mission. After the events, Kiana, Teresa, and Himiko set out on a stealth mission near the headquarters of Mi Corporation. Their goal is to rescue Bronya, Mei, and Wendy, who Anti-Entropy captured. As they travel toward the HQ, Teresa asks if Kiana has known all along that Bronya is under someone else's control. Kiana hesitates before admitting the truth, placing the blame squarely on Anti-Entropy. Teresa counters, reminding her that Schicksal also shares responsibility. Schicksal creates Valkyries to fight Honkai, often subjecting them to irreversible corruption and suffering. Teresa's words allude to Bronya's tragic past, including the loss of her legs due to Honkai's corruption. Their path is anything but smooth. As the team battles their way forward, Kiana can't help but wonder why Mei, of all people, is being held prisoner in the ME Corp HQ. After all, her father, Raiden Ryoma, was once the CEO of Mi Corporation. Himiko then explains that Raiden Ryoma had been arrested on charges of economic crimes, but these accusations were false. Anti-Entropy had framed him to allow Cecilia, an extremist leader, to seize control of ME Corp and use its resources to oppose Schicksal. The reason why Anti-Entropy and Cecilia kidnapped Raiden Mei was because they wanted the third Herrscher's core inside her body. This core was created when she was a middle school student in Nagasora City before becoming a Valkyrie student at St. Freya, and was the cause of the Third Honkai War that destroyed Nagasora City. The team presses on, fighting off guards while searching for a way inside. Just as they're considering retreat, Bronya unexpectedly appears to help. While Teresa and Himiko are understandably wary of her sudden involvement, they realize they have no choice but to trust her if they want to find an entrance. As they move forward, Kiana asks why Schicksal doesn't produce advanced mechas like Anti-Entropy. Teresa explains that Schicksal once tried to create mechs powered by Honkai energy but failed. Their research ultimately revealed that Valkyrie's bodies are the best vessels for converting Honkai energy. However, this comes at a steep cost, as continuous exposure to Honkai energy leads to corruption and shortens the Valkyries' lifespans. Teresa sighs, lamenting that Anti-Entropy's founders were more humane than Schicksal's leadership because they refused to use human lives as Honkai energy carriers. As Bronya helps the team unlock doors, their progress is suddenly halted. the lab gates slam shut, and they realize it was all a trap. Cecilia had been tracking their movements and lured them into the lab. The team fights their way through more guards, inching closer to their goal. They finally discover Bronya standing guard over an unconscious Mei. Kiana braces for a fight but is surprised when Bronya doesn't attack. Instead, Bronya begins reminiscing about her connection with Mei. She reflects on how meeting Mei changed her life, second only to the influence of her Matushka, Cecilia. In a shocking act of defiance, Bronya burns her biochip to sever Cecilia's control over her. This leaves Bronya in a comatose state.
ブローニャはもう戦わない。キアナ、今のうちにメイ姉様を連れて脱出してください。ブローニャはすでに自分のバイオチップを破壊しましたから。
ふざけないで。バイオチップはあなたの脳内に直接埋め込んであるのよ。そんなことをしたらまさか死ぬつもり？
ブローニャは自分の命よりもメイ姉様の方が大切です。メイ姉様を傷つける命令にはもう従いません。さようなら、メイ姉様。キアナ、メイ姉様を頼みます。
Mei wakes up, horrified to see Bronya's condition. Himiko and Teresa urge the team to retreat so they can get Bronya medical treatment, but their mission isn't over yet. Cecilia's mention of Wendy draws them back to their original objective. At that moment, Wendy's voice echoes through the lab. She reveals that the team already knows the truth about Bronya being controlled. Wendy then says it was Teresa who had recommended Wendy for the Gem of Desire experiment. Wendy also hints at a way to save Bronya by using the gem's energy. Kiana's team follows Wendy's directions to an unfamiliar location where they find a massive, inactive mecha. Before they can act, Cecilia appears via communication and plays Wendy's final recording. The recording reveals Wendy's pain and rage. She had wanted revenge against Schicksal for subjecting her to the experiment, which explains her violent outburst during the earlier battle against the Honkai beasts. As Cecilia speaks, she extracts the Gem of Desire from Wendy, killing her in the process. The gem powers up the colossal mecha, MSRI Voton, which springs to life. Now, Kiana and her team must face this new, devastating threat and destroy the mecha to complete their mission. After the mission at the ME Corp HQ building, Bronya is rushed to the hospital in St. Freya for urgent medical treatment. Unfortunately, even the advanced medical technology is incapable of waking her from her comatose state.
ウェンディは帰らぬ人となり、ブローニャも昏睡状態に陥っている。聖フレイヤ学園の技術をもってしても彼女を助けることはできなかった。ブローニャを救いたいテレサは聖フレイヤ学園の中央教会へ向かうことにした。その地下には天命組織最高のバイオ技術が眠っている。それは学園長ですら知らない機密事項。
Desperate to save her, Teresa decides to visit the underground church of St. Freya, a place housing the most cutting-edge biotechnology, a simulation system that records historical events developed by Schicksal. She begins searching for a solution in the database, but her efforts are repeatedly blocked. Most of the relevant files are linked to something called the Sirin Project, a highly classified initiative restricted by orders from Overseer Auto Apocalypse. Among the search results, only one document, dated February 7, 2000, remains accessible, which were fake recordings created by Auto to cover up the truth of what happened during the Second Honkai War. Driven by curiosity and urgency, Teresa teleports into the database to investigate further. However, she is unaware that Kiana has secretly overheard her plans. Determined to uncover the truth and help Bronya, Kiana slips through the teleportation gate just before it closes, inadvertently transporting herself to that fateful day in history.
シーリン計画と関連するため閲覧禁止となっております。
またオットー大司教が隠したのかしら。それじゃあ閲覧できるのは
2000年2月7日シベリアバビロン実験室関連のデータです。
2000年2月7日くそ、あの時のデータベース関連データをエクスポートしてちょうだい。
かしこまりました、テレサ様。
あれ、スクリーンが消え始めた。私も急いで入らなきゃ。
バーチャル空間構築完了。 時間2000年2月7日午後3時。場所シベリアバビロン実験室。
ここはどこ？
When Kiana logs in, the image that appears in front of her is an icy expanse of a Siberian snowfield. Kiana struggles to find her bearings. Her communication device eventually picks up Teresa's signal. The voice mentions a target heading to Babylon Labs and requests reinforcements to intercept it. Following the signal, Kiana stumbles upon an injured Teresa, who seems to be healing unnaturally quickly. This is not a real Teresa but a hologram. To her surprise, this version of Teresa doesn't recognize her and dismissively refers to her as Siegfried's abandoned bastard daughter.
あなたはもうちょっと会わないだけで忘れるなんて。あんたの目、キアナだよ。キアナかすらの？ふん、クソ第二律者め。幻影で私を惑わそうだなんてバカにしているのかしら。私のメイキアナは今1歳よ。
Confused and defensive, Kiana is forced to fight Teresa. During the clash, Teresa notices that Kiana's fighting techniques mirror those of House Kaslana. This revelation makes Teresa pause, and Kiana realizes she must be dealing with a younger version of Teresa, one from the year 2000. Thinking quickly, Kiana claims to be the abandoned daughter of Siegfried Kaslana, cast aside by her father years ago. Sympathetic to this poor girl, Teresa believes the tale and vows to help her seek revenge against Siegfried. Teresa shifts focus back to the mission and explains the urgency of their situation. The second Herrscher is heading toward a massive research facility called Babylon Labs. The labs house the world's only large-scale Honkai reactor, capable of producing immense energy. If the Herrscher reaches the tower and absorbs its power, she will complete her awakening, becoming an unstoppable force that could destroy the world. Kiana listens intently, her mind drifting to a dream she had in Celine about the Second Honkai War, a battle in Siberia during 2000 where her mother, Cecilia, reportedly lost her life. She asks Teresa about Cecilia's involvement. Teresa assures her that Cecilia had just given birth the previous year and was on maternity leave. However, if they fail to stop the Herrschers, Overseer Otto may deploy Cecilia as a last resort. Kiana then asks Teresa not to reveal her true identity as Siegfried's daughter, fearing it could complicate things, and Teresa agrees. As the pair continues their mission, they encounter Siegfried Kaslana, Kiana's father. Siegfried says that the Valkyrie squad sent to locate the second Herrschers has gone silent, and their lack of progress has prompted Otto to dispatch Cecilia to the battlefield. She is expected to arrive in 30 minutes. Siegfried assigns Teresa and Kiana to investigate one area while he covers another. Before parting ways, Kiana impulsively slaps Siegfried, venting her frustration at the stupid old man who abandoned her and her mother.
悪い知らせは、バルキリー部隊が第二律者を探しに向かったが、何も発見がないこと。それ以上に悪いのが、戦況に進展がないのを見たオットー主教がセシリアの出撃を命じたことだ。
そんな、今のセシリアの隊長では戦いはまだ無理よ。
あと30分でセシリアがシベリアに到着する。その前に第二律者を探し出し殺さねえとな。神様はまだ俺たちを見捨てちゃいないようだぜ。
報告します。 O23 エリアと O17 エリアから同時に第二律者の痕跡を発見したとの情報あり。
私たちをバラバラにする気かしら。
仕方がねえ。俺は O23 に行く。テレサは O17 に行け。第二律者を見つけたら手加減はするな。
キアナはここに残ってちょうだい。ここは安全なはずよ。
ん？キアナ？
そう、ごめんね。あんたの娘と同じ名前、キアナだよ。私も一緒に行く。一緒に戦うわ。でも、私の実力ならさっき戦いの中で見たでしょ。
俺はいいと思うぜ。お嬢ちゃんの目を見ればわかる。お嬢ちゃんはいい戦士だ。テレサ、連れて行ってやれよ。
わかったわ。そうだ、それとこれは利子よ。第二律者を倒したらたっぷり懲らしめてやるわ。待ってなさい。クソじゃなかった。ジークフリートかすらな。
On the way to their assigned location, Teresa shares an insight. Siegfried likely chose to go alone because he plans to use the judgment of Shamash, a sacred relic of House Kaslana. This powerful weapon engulfs everything in a sea of flames but comes at a tremendous cost to the user. Many Kaslanas before Siegfried sacrificed their lives wielding it, and he's prepared to do the same. On their way to the Herrscher's last known location, Cecilia reaches out to Kiana through their comms. She warmly asks Kiana to call her mom, a heartfelt request that fills Kiana with emotion. Then Cecilia finally arrives, wielding the Abyss Flower, her weapon. Despite the warnings and pleas from Teresa and Kiana, Cecilia refuses to stand down. Her duty as a Valkyrie compels her to stop the second Herrschers and save the world.
倒しちゃった。あれこそが全てを分解する生物、黒煙白化よ。
お疲れ様、テレサちゃん。ごめんなさいね。あなたの獲物を横取りしちゃって。
相変わらず強いわね。さすがは天命最強のバルキリー、セシリ
ア。褒めすぎよ、テレサちゃん。照れるわ。そうそう。あなたの隣にいる美少女がキアナね。
セシリア。
They rush towards Siegfried's location, only to see him already battling the second Herrschers with the judgment of Shamash. The intense flames scorch everything in sight, including Siegfried himself.
私とこれだけ戦えるなんて。あなたはあのシスターより強いみたいね。
それはありがとさんよ。戦いが始まった時から分かってたよ。テレサが来たとしても、お前にはかなわないとな。
あら、物分かりがいい人類ね。許しをこうなら、許してあげてもいいわよ。
気持ちだけで結構だ、綺麗なお嬢ちゃん。俺はもう決めたんだ。最愛の人を守るために、この命を懸けるとな。なんでその手にそんな力が。それは地獄で考えな。いでよ、天下。
Kiana, Teresa, and Cecilia finally reach the entrance of Babylon Labs. The Herrschers herself is nowhere to be seen, but powerful Honkai beasts guard the entrance, clearly placed there to delay them. After a fierce battle, Cecilia eliminates the last and strongest beast in a single strike with her Abyss Flower, solidifying her reputation as Schicksal's strongest Valkyrie. For the first time, Kiana gets to see her mother in action, a moment filled with awe and pride. After defeating the enemies on the ground floor of Babylon Labs, Teresa receives a call from Overseer Otto, summoning her for an important discussion about a crucial plan. She leaves Kiana and Cecilia behind to continue their mission. While waiting, Kiana explores the facility and comes across some peculiar items. She finds a damaged diary recounting a child's sorrowful memories of being separated from their mother and a mysterious key that activates a game on a lift terminal. Though curious, Kiana brushes aside these discoveries, cherishing the rare chance to spend time with her mother. As they move forward, Otto contacts Cecilia telling her that if she fails to kill the second Herrschers in time, Schicksal plans to launch a Honkai fission missile. This revelation hits Kiana hard. She recalls a haunting conversation she once had with the Void about a missile that killed both the second Herrschers and her mother. Determined to prevent history from repeating itself, Kiana swears to protect Cecilia at all costs. Following Cecilia's instructions, Kiana searches the lab's power room to cut off its energy supply. However, after searching thoroughly, she realizes there is no power switch. It dawns on her that Cecilia lied, sending her to the power room to keep her safe while Cecilia confronted the Herrschers alone. Anger and worry bubble up inside Kiana, and she immediately rushes to find her mother. When Kiana arrives, she is horrified to see Cecilia gravely injured, bleeding on the floor. The second Herrschers looms over her, ready to strike again. In desperation, Kiana remembers the magic word Ziklibetich, words tied to her deepest hope to save her mother. As she speaks them, the world around her begins to shift. The moment rewinds, and Kiana finds herself back in front of the safe room. Relieved but bewildered by the turn of events, Kiana pushes her confusion aside and fights her way through the lab again. This time, she reaches her mother just in time to stop the Herrschers from delivering a fatal blow. Drawing her pistol, Kiana distracts the Herrschers, creating an opening for Cecilia to launch a devastating counterattack. The attack severely wounds the Herrschers, forcing her to retreat to a higher floor. Kiana and Cecilia press onward, venturing deeper into the lab. In one area, they discover rows of capsules containing children. It becomes painfully clear that these children were subjected to inhumane experiments, stripped of their memories and emotions, and transformed into living weapons with enhanced Honkai capabilities. Among the capsules is one labeled 051, Sirin, confirming that even the second Herrschers was once a victim of this facility's cruel research. At the top of the tower, they finally confront the weakened second Herrschers. Cecilia strikes the decisive blow. With the battle over, Kiana embraces her mother, expressing her wish to spend time with her forever. Their heartfelt moment is interrupted by real Teresa's sudden arrival. She is shocked to find Kiana in the data space and starts bragging about her role in the victory. But as Kiana turns back to her mother, she realizes Cecilia has disappeared. The surroundings dissolve into a default data space map. Confused and heartbroken, Kiana desperately calls out for her mother. Before she can act further, Fu Hua arrives. Her true identity is a secret agent sent by Overseer Otto to keep an eye on Kiana while she is a student in St. Freya and watch out if Kiana becomes a Herrschers. She urged Teresa to stay back. Fu Hua reveals that everything Kiana experienced was an illusion created by Sirin. The second Herrschers manipulated Kiana, preying on her deep longing to reunite with her parents. This incident is not generated from a record of AI simulation system. Kiana refuses to accept Fu Hua's explanation. She recites the magic words Ich liebe dich, again hoping to bring her mother back. But it had no effect, making her heart deeply saddened. However, the Honkai energy inside her surges uncontrollably. Fu Hua, sensing the danger, prepares her battlesuit to subdue Kiana and wake her from the illusion. The reason for the illusion Kiana encountered was because Sirin's spirit, hidden inside the Herrscher core that had been embedded in Kiana's body since childhood, had begun to awaken and tried to lure Kiana's mind. Meanwhile, Durandal reports to Otto that Fu Hua has successfully captured Kiana, while Teresa has been restrained. Otto, satisfied with the result, orders Teresa's release, and emphasizes that Kiana is the real target. Moments after her release, Teresa secretly contacts Himiko to prepare the Hyperion battleship for an emergency raid on Schicksal headquarters. She vows to rescue Kiana at all costs. Teresa also orders Bronya to be transferred onto the Hyperion for immediate surgery, ensuring the team's fight to save their friend and student continues. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe for more movie-style game stories. We cover everything from classic RPGs like Final Fantasy to the latest mobile and MMO. Life's busy, so we keep games short and sweet. Get the story without the time commitment, a quarter of the time, all the fun. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon!